now we're literally helping people in the Boston art scene that might be struggling, that might be pursuing their passion, but also juggling a couple different jobs. We're helping them out. We're creating a space where everybody can feel connected.
Special episode, very special episode. We have our first guest on the show. Walking bucket.
I just did a lot of soul searching about this is the need we got in this city. I'm born and raised here. My dad, my whole family on my dad's side, I'm fourth generation Bostonian. Great Scott, and once in Somerville, a couple different venues went under, and there wasn't that many anyway because of the toll that gentrification's been taking prior to the pandemic.
I was gonna do a countdown, but I don't think we should do a countdown. Boom! Ronnie's gonna hate the sound on that one. All right, ladies, gentlemen, boys, girls, investors, not investors, or not investing yet, we're here to get some buckets. It's Stefan Jackson, your host, you already know, but with the other co-founder.
Monster Park.
We're here. We're humbled. It's been a beautiful week. We're here. We're super excited to see you guys. We're super excited that you guys are participating, watching. Like, subscribe, share, and let's get some buckets. We're bringing it. We're bringing all the juicy flavors. It's like juicy fruit. But instead, today, you already know, brought to you by Hello Velo. We're about to get it wild. We're about to get it popping. But today is a beautiful episode, and we're super excited because we have a very special guest, Joe Sullivan, on the show. My guy.
Appreciate you guys. It's great to be here.
Guys.
Always respect and love from my end. Always.
Let's get it.
Appreciate it.
Guys, I didn't even do the intro. Joe was the intro. That was the beautiful part. And yeah, let me just do a quick backstory. This one might suck.
They never stop. They only get better and better.
All right, let's get it. All right, so this week, it was a beautiful week. Amon and I had a very amazing time going into the Suffolk University Black Student Law Association and being able to participate there, be one of the specialized vendors over there. And we were able to help people just learn more about what Shop with Freedom was and learn more about just what we're doing in the community and how we're here to be able to help promote small businesses, promote how we can help elevate them and make more small businesses digital and on major retailers' sites. Talk to us nice. Let's do this. And so it was amazing, honestly, just to be able to connect with so many different people, so many different resources, as well as just game planning and figuring out what the next step and mission is. And the mission is to be able to help small businesses, local businesses, Black-owned businesses all around, from Massachusetts to New York to California. It doesn't matter where you are. We want to help promote you guys because we know our communities need to support the community. And so we're here to get some buckets. We're here to help you guys sell and help you guys promote your products from e-commerce standpoint. And even if you want a new website or getting a new brand or graphic designing, we're here to be able to help there too. Freedom, I'll let you guys. Look at that beautiful shirt. Look at that smile too. Look at that guy. Bringing it all day, every day. What else did we do this week?
Yeah, back to that event. It was great to be in a room full of the next leaders of Boston.
Ooh.
Those were some people who are gonna have a big impact for businesses, for people, for organizations. Lawyers are leaders.
Lawyers are
going
leaders.
Into politics, whether they're running businesses. So
it was.
You could feel it.
You could feel the energy in the room. And the best part, guys, is also we had the most amazing guest speaker.
Yes, absolutely.
Who was able to touch the hearts of millions of souls over his lifetime. And it's more of just Dr. Cornell West. Mm-hmm. Legendary.
Absolute legend. Absolute legend. A legend in the field, in the law field, in the media field, in the civil rights field, in the socioeconomic fields, in the church field. He's a lawyer, pastor, one of the best orators I've ever heard in my life.
When he spoke, it was wisdom.
Yeah.
It was just straight up wisdom, guys.
Yeah.
Sort of reminds me of Ralph Jordan, I'm not even gonna lie. For those who know who Ralph is. You know,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Exactly. So, guys, today on this episode, we are here and super excited to be able to have Joe Sullivan on. Joe Sullivan is just a man of the people. I met Joe back at my UMass Lowell days, alma mater. Whoop, whoop, go Riverhawks. And Joe and I, we just were in so many different clubs and just active on campus too.
Yes, sir.
From Dean Student Leadership Council for the Manning School of Business to MAILS, which is Men Achieving Leadership Excellence and Success. Really just taught us the foundation of what it means to be like an excellent man. And on the other side of that, we were also in gospel choir together, preaching, praying, singing, getting it. Hey. Oh, it was some good times, Joe.
Vanilla White, the greatest to ever do it.
Vanilla White, she really is. And Joe is also a master musician, killing it on the cello, just right? Right? Yeah, I'm not sure if I'm holding it properly.
Yeah.
But,
You got it.
It's all on the shoulders too, right? Is it in the shoulders?
You actually don't want to use your arm and your elbow too much.
Okay.
You know, yeah, it's definitely in the forearm. And
Gotta practice good form.
Sorry, I'm just gonna dance. But yeah, so back to that. Definitely welcome to the pod. Glad to be able to have you on. And it's super special because you are the first guest to be able to jump on. Guest numero uno.
Yes, sir.
Let's get some
Appreciate
buckets.
you guys.
Amen.
Appreciate you. Thank you.
Right.
Thank you.
And so definitely want to just ask a few questions too. So right now, what are you up to?
Right now, just finished my MBA last year. I'm working in marketing right now and doing freelance music on the side. The pandemic obviously took a hit with the music industry. A lot of people that work in live music were out of work for a while. But right now, I see the gap in the city as far as the lack of venues. A lot of smaller venues got shut down. The corporate venues are abundant because obviously if you're coming in with a couple million, you can build up a venue from scratch. The smaller venues that really support the DIY scene are lacking right now. Everything from, a couple hundred, maybe 80 people to a couple hundred people. Great Scott and once in Somerville, a couple different venues went under, and there wasn't that many anyway because of the toll that gentrification has been taking prior to the pandemic. So that's kind of a need that I identified, and I want to step into that space, but also create a solution that connects the city more because the creatives in the city, I always felt they were kind of disenfranchised from each other. There's a lot of talent here. That's an inarguable point. But they're a little bit disenfranchised in the sense that, you have these different scenes, but people don't really talk to each other, and it's not necessarily a competitive thing. It's just kind of like there's no bridge there in a lot of ways. There's a couple different people, like this guy Aaron who runs the Bridgeside Cypher out in Cambridge, and so he connects kind of the hip hop community in Cambridge with the Boston hip hop community. Shane from Gospel Choir, like he goes over there and plays drums with them sometimes, and I think that's really cool. Yeah,
Shane is one of
a legend.
Guys, Shane is one of the best drummers I have ever seen in my life.
Undefeated.
Yes, like different caliber.
Yeah.
And so right now, a ton of your stuff is just really music focused then.
Yes, sir. I just did a lot of soul searching about this is the need we got in this city. I'm born and raised here. My dad, my whole family on my dad's side, I'm fourth generation Bostonian. So, and then my mom is from Tajikistan, from Central Asia. And so, the diversity of the city attracts me. I want to connect that in the areas where it may not be as prevalent. Like the Austin scene is very diverse, but that doesn't necessarily go for all over the city. So
very student, very very different vibe in Austin versus different parts of Boston.
Exactly. And I feel like right now the need is so high that people will travel around different parts of the city to get to a venue. Like, if you could look up articles right now on the internet that just were published in the last month about smaller indie touring bands, they're skipping over Boston altogether because they can't even get a spot to play.
That's not good.
Right now,
that's an issue.
Right? It's so backed up. It's 3 months backed up. If you're a band or a performer looking to perform in one of the smaller venues around Boston that has a name that steady brings in a crowd. people called in January. They didn't even hear of any openings until April.
Yeah.
To be able to perform, which is crazy because we have so many creatives here. There's no lack of creatives. Yeah. It's just, the grip of gentrification as well as, the displacement as well as the pandemic accelerated all of those issues.
So what I'm hearing, very venue based is just where you're strategically thinking. Definitely. On that side, which is obviously amazing. And so definitely looking for spaces, and like this is going to be able to help bring people together. This is going to be able to help musicians, and so your space is going to be able to provide, or are you trying to be able to build a space, work with a space?
Yeah.
Or how would people be able to actually use the venue that you're speaking of?
Yeah, let me dive into the crux of it. So basically, I want to support the Boston art scene. Even though I'm not a painter or an artist myself, I want to support the Boston art scene, the Dorchester, Roxbury art scene. But I'm a musician. I want to connect those two communities.
Okay.
Gotcha.
So, there's
paint, art, musicians, basketball.
Maybe.
Okay, I just had to, balls like, let's get some buckets. Right.
I don't know where I would fit that in, but I want to create a multi-purpose space that could be used for rehearsals, could be used for art galleries, could be used for clothing line pop-ups. If you think off the top of your head, where can you go in Boston where you can just pull up and say, hey, I want to have a pop-up for my business. I want to have a pop-up for my organic skincare, for my clothing line. It's like very difficult to find a space that is not going to charge an arm and a leg to be able to get in there.
They're very corporate spaces.
Absolutely, 100%. And what I want to do with that is I want to leverage NFT technology a little bit. And I won't go into too much detail with that, but basically they're already opening NFT art galleries in Boston. There's one on Newbury Street now.
So first, before we get right into it,
yes, sir.
What's an NFT?
Hey, you gotta explain to people.
Yes.
Not everyone knows.
I'm not gonna go too deep into it, but
oh no, we're down to get go deep.
NFTs are non-fungible tokens, and so
what does that mean for human beings?
It's a digital good and it's a digital art piece. So it's authentic in the sense that it has a unique hash, and it's created in the blockchain. And when you buy that, you have the rights to that. And you can transfer that to somebody, but you have the rights to that through that unique hash, through that code. So it functions in a way like stocks sort of do, in total layman terms, where you can buy that NFT, it might appreciate in value, you can resell it. But also the most important aspect and how that can have implications in real world, real time, is NFTs have utility. Utility means what the NFT comes with behind the scenes as far as the access it gets you and the benefits that it brings you on top of the ownership. If you just buy a painting, you have a painting, a physical painting, you put it on your wall, and that, that may appreciate, but that doesn't necessarily go further than that. But with NFTs, you buy the NFT and now you have exclusive access to somebody's interviews or their meet and greet. Now you're invited to their meet and greet, or you're basically invited into a VIP community. And that's what that utility term stands for.
So it can act as a membership pass.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. And so basically utility means you can get X amount of benefits from owning that NFT that are unlocked to you by owning it. And so you own that NFT. Steve Aoki's doing this, and DJs, Live Nation.
Oh yeah.
A lot of people jumping into
Full
this.
Send Milk Boys are doing that.
Yes, sir. Where you own the NFT, and now you got discounts on merch, and now you got sneak peeks to events. Now you got like the pre-sale tickets to the next event. You get into stuff for free. You're in this VIP community, and now there's just like the internet's so oversaturated with like all this different stuff you can get into that I think that exclusivity strategy is really benefiting companies, and also people are really enjoying leveraging that. Like, you look at Clubhouse when that first came out, and everybody was jumping into Clubhouse or trying to, and they were only giving out so many invites to people after you already had that.
They should have NFT'd. Oh, man.
After you already had the app. And
time out, how would that have worked if they NFT'd? Or now knowing, because this is a very new thing. NFTs are extremely new. Popped off in the last year and a half.
Yeah.
So it's this is still early adoption stage
100%.
on just the fact of where it can be. And as you're saying, you're talking about one venue in Boston that's even starting this right now. So how as Clubhouse as an example, just for honestly for me to understand, how would that have been able to benefit if that was an NFT for Clubhouse?
I can speak to Clubhouse. So for Clubhouse, one thing they could have done, they did an invite only thing. So you had to know someone and they had to invite you. What they could have done is release an NFT. The standard number people choose is 10,000. And they could have said everyone has to buy into the NFT, and they would have received all of the funds for that NFT, which would have been like just raising money. And then everyone who had that NFT would have had access to Clubhouse. That's a way that Steve Aoki's doing it. A lot of artists are doing it.
So you
sort of just a membership. So
it literally is just a membership.
That's one use of it.
But it's also a ticket.
I guess. And if it's a ticket, it could also be a membership pass.
How else can it be used?
There's a lot of ways it can be used.
Because that's very useful.
It's very useful.
Because then it's like you make that one purchase into there.
And yeah, you're just a member. Wow. And another way that a lot of companies, the reason they're going to be jumping into this is there's royalties on that. So when someone sells it, the person who originally issued the NFT can collect a percentage. And that's how you can like sustain a business off of it.
Yeah, I want to touch on that real fast. Like,
please do.
That's one of the greatest benefits about it. You know, when you buy a physical ticket, you have a physical ticket, you might hold on to it, you might lose it. You know,
it's gone.
And that's kind of it. Like the life cycle of a physical ticket doesn't extend that far. And then you have to deal with scalpers, and you know, sometimes if you got to get into something that's sold out already, and you end up buying a ticket that's not real. So there's plenty of scams and things there where NFTs, because of the encrypted blockchain, it bypasses all that type of stuff. Especially with an NFT ticket type of system. But one of the greatest implications about this that I've been considering is a lot of times these corporate venues, they're just really thinking about how can we bump up our profits as much. We're dealing with bigger artists, we're dealing with labels. So it's a little bit of a different scene than the DIY scene. If we're, for example, with a smaller venue like the concept that I'm trying to create, and we're booking indie bands, we're booking New England area touring bands and Boston artists as well, you know, more locally sourced. What I think I could do there is get that royalty system going where you get 10% of, so if somebody buys a ticket to a performance, even if they don't go to the follow-up performances, you know, 6 months down, a year down the line, they could get 10% of the royalties or a percentage of the royalties from those performances added to their NFT because they are one of the, you know, original founding purchasers.
Yeah.
And then what that would do is that would actually pay them for going to concerts. It would not only would they make their money back, but by the end of the year they would probably have doubled it.
For being able to get into these newer artists per se and buying them before their ticket value.
Exactly.
Because then their venue is going to have, let's say their venue has 100 seats. 100 seats. And then as they go larger to hopefully the Garden, which has 40,000 seats, like these 100 seats, they're able to... What?
It's
you
crazy.
Can do that?
It's crazy. Yeah.
I get it. You can do that?
So
why not? Okay.
If the event space is going well and it's getting more buzz and you're booking bigger artists, then the membership price goes up. And now that
you're still
ticket
earning,
that you just bought is now worth more. So you're winning on multiple sides.
That's literally like, I can just
tickets
think of
are obsolete.
3 levels.
Tickets are just
no,
obsolete
there's no
now.
because
NFTs.
All right, I'm just going to make this comment. I'm not sure what's going to happen with it. I was at the Museum of Fine Arts, had my ticket. What happens for an art piece? Because you were talking about art later. And this is the next part that I wanted to talk about because how you're trying to bridge that gap. So I had my ticket to a Museum of Fine Arts. Beautiful. Guys, Boston has a great time there. All right. Had my ticket, did our thing. And what happens if there was like a piece of art, so let's say for a smaller venue, that I was at one of those 100 people at that venue, and that is now being sold for XYZ amount of money. Is that an application where an NFT can be applicable, applied, or?
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like it matters how many pieces are being made of that art. So I know a lot of art, a lot of physical art. It's usually like one piece or a collection of pieces. With NFTs, it's similar. So someone will create, I guess, a theme, and you'll make multiples of that theme. And so there's more than one person can buy into that theme, but they're only getting that specific one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh.
But let me give you kind of my pitch for the venue since it jumps off of the art point there. So, as I said, royalties. You get that ticket, you have that NFT, and then you would get royalties that follow performances, even if you don't go. And the other thing is, I want to include Boston artists, Boston-based artists, Dorchester, Cambridge, Roxbury, wherever you're at as an artist. If you're making NFTs, have that person make the NFT theme, make the NFT theme for a couple of events, and then give them a percentage of the ticket sales, and then that appreciates as well. So now the profit's getting redistributed. So the venue's making money, the artist is making money, and the musicians are making money.
So the art as a ticket. I like that.
You
Bridging
see?
the two together.
So
Absolutely.
So what it would be is, I want to create an NFT ticketed venue where you buy a ticket, you have your unique QR code, you go to the venue, you get it scanned, it opens up the NFT. The NFT gets minted on the spot. It only takes about a minute or two, oftentimes, with smaller following NFTs. So NFT gets minted on the spot. People get excited about that, like, check this out, I got this unique NFT. It has a theme connected to the concert, and now you have a memorable experience embedded in that NFT from the concert. So if you take and you relate that to basketball games or sports games, like, imagine if this existed back in the day when MJ was hot, when Jordan was in his prime, and you had an NFT left over from a game you went to
Flu game.
Never
with
saw
Jordan
that.
dunking,
game.
That's crazy.
or when Shaq was breaking the glass with dunking, and you had one of those NFTs from that game. That would be incredible, right? Like, that would be something we would want to pass down to
Oh yeah.
our kids, and like, we'd be so
I was there.
excited about that.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly.
I was there. What do you mean? Look at my NFT.
Yeah.
See, and
Look
so
at that. Look at that.
yeah, and so like in the same way that can capture the artist experience. We can have the theme of that band or the artist
Wow, that's good.
implemented into the NFT.
Yeah.
And so a lot of bigger artists started out here, via Joyner Lucas, on the rock side, the Cars, Aerosmith. Imagine if we had NFTs of this. Boston creates a lot of legendary musicians, legendary artists, but then it kind of gets disconnected. Like, we don't celebrate them as much as we should. After they might go on and get bigger.
Because then they're out in LA.
Yeah, they're in LA, they're in New York, they're in Miami.
Right. Good location.
Yep.
So basically, you go to the event, you got your ticket already, you scan your ticket, your NFT pops up. Now you got your unique NFT that you can keep and that embeds a memory from that concert. And not only that, after you leave, you could resell it. If you hold it, you get 10% of the royalties returned to you from following performances, and a percentage is given to the artist that made that around Boston. So now we're literally helping people in the Boston art scene that might be struggling, that might be pursuing their passion, but also juggling a couple different jobs. We're helping them out. We're creating a space where everybody could feel connected. Where now, you go see an indie band, you might not learn anything about a Boston native's art project, but now it's interconnected where you can go look at their Instagram, you can go look at their work, and that would potentially drive more business and viewership for their work as well. And then a side piece to that too is, shout out to Johnny Heike, if you know that guy. He's one of Boston's finest Filipino, lives out in LA now. He went to Bentley, and he's an NFT artist, musician as well, but he's really been popping off with NFTs. And he has these foos, which is kind of like hard to describe. It's kind of like the dragons in front of Chinatown. You've seen that dragon looking figure. So he creates those, and he's created them in NFTs now, and he's got them kind of holographic. And he's had a couple of different NFT art galleries in New York and LA. He just went to Miami NFT Week and LA NFT Week, and he's been showing his art what I'm thinking is I would have screens in the venue where it would pop up and show different people's NFTs in the Boston scene and get the word out about that and build up the hype about that, promote that as well as the music. Like, imagine having a couple different holographic NFTs, you know, like lighting up neon around the venue while the music's playing in a dark room. Like, you know, that would definitely set an interesting tone.
Oh yeah.
And
It'd be like the Roaring 20s.
nobody has really stepped into. There's a lot of talk and discourse about NFT ticketing, but nobody has really stepped into that fully yet. Gary V, if you guys are fans of Gary
Absolutely.
V, yeah, and shout out to him. You know, big inspiration.
Helping the market.
He's creating an NFT based membership restaurant in New York, so you can't get in with cash. It hasn't opened yet, but he's building up the hype right now. But you can't get in with cash at all. It's all
Can you
just
tax NFT? It's art.
the whole crypto taxing thing is working itself out.
That's tricky. That's tricky. So if someone were to sell it, potentially that's revenue. But I mean, it all, yeah, you know, crypto and taxes are pretty
Dope.
tricky. Yeah.
Good to know. So I saw a loophole right there. I just want to say.
Yeah,
I was kidding. I was
no.
kidding.
Basically the revenues, like, you know, with crypto, the revenue you can keep it in
Yeah, as long as you don't
exchange,
sell.
and then, yeah.
But if someone purchases and you own the NFT, can they borrow and you don't sell?
Yeah, there's a lot of crypto applications coming out where you can borrow against something you're holding, so you don't have to sell it. So absolutely, that is something. There's a lot of companies.
That's
Shout out to
beautiful.
Celsius. Celsius is a company that does that.
Hey, I invested in Celsius.
Yeah, it's a great company. Good investment.
Let's get some buckets.
Future thinking right there.
It is. It is. Get
But I like what you said because I feel like your concept is bridging the creative side. I've seen a lot of art NFTs and I've seen a lot of ticketing NFTs, and I haven't seen anyone bridge those two together where they're using the art as a ticket, helping both that artist and the creators of whatever the event is. So I think that's a really good bridge that is needed.
I appreciate it, man. And I don't think, you know, it detracts from the focus really at all from the musician performing, because it could be created around that theme. Like, you know, we're in this space right now where there's a lack of venues. A lot of these venues are corporate. A couple of my buddies that are, you know, Boston-based R&B performers had to have their event canceled like 3 weeks to a month in advance because they didn't sell enough tickets by the quota that the venue has, the corporate venue has. So I want to create a space where it's not so much about, I'm never going to charge pay to play, because that's one of the most disrespectful things you could do to a musician in the industry. It's more about, let's get the community excited about this. Let's get people in there. And then we'll look at percentages of what's made from the NFT tickets versus, you know, paying people to be a part of it. Because it's hard enough to get
That's
by
tough.
as it is in the city right now.
That's so tough.
As a creative.
And Boston needs it. You mentioned Gary V's. Where's Gary V's? He's doing that
So
in?
Gary Vee wants to open up a restaurant in New York.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
and it
He's
hasn't
always in
happened
New
yet.
York.
I know, full send a note. They're doing a sports bar in Miami with that same theme.
Really.
Boston's missing one.
And Boston's always ahead of the curve. Like,
Yeah.
Facebook is infinite here, you know?
Dude,
So I
100%.
that's another great point too that I'm considering, right? I think the Boston demographic, the Boston target audience for this is very applicable, because we have a lot of young people. We got the college students, but we also have a lot of people that keep abreast of tech innovations constantly. You know, like, we're very open to trying different things out with tech, with, you know, from a lot of different angles of technology. A lot of them got adopted here before they did in other parts of the U.S. You know, I think it's safe to say. So I think that the community would definitely be receptive, and that's not only the art community. The art community here is grounded in a lot of loyal people that are Boston natives, and they're connected kind of to the schools like Berkeley and Emerson, but it could be better. It could be stronger, that bond. The resources that the colleges have and the city has, you know, there's definitely a gap there. And so I think that could be stronger, and they could work together, and the college students would also get excited about this, because people in our age group, everybody's kind of heard about NFTs, or they're at least looking into it.
Mhm.
but there hasn't been a real world, let's get out of the house and go apply this.
Yeah.
Mm.
That utility.
Yeah. Yeah. So,
Yeah, I hear a lot of people saying, "Oh, why don't you just copy paste it and now you're the owner too?" I'm like, that's not how it works.
Yeah.
Like you see a Mona Lisa on the wall, someone can just go paint a Mona Lisa. They don't now own the Mona Lisa. Like
Yeah.
it's the same. It's a similar thing. And with crypto, it's encrypted. Who owned it, when they bought it, for the price they bought it, and anyone can go and look and see that.
Exactly. And so, kind of one of the biggest challenges to this is how do we make all this stuff happen in real time? I think it does save fees. There's a lot of ticketing fees. You used to be able to buy stuff at box offices, and that cut out some of the fees. But now they're just charging processing fees to buy a ticket on the
processing,
internet. What's a processing fee?
Referral,
I'm buying it
affiliate.
on the internet.
Yeah.
So you're gonna charge me a $20 processing fee on top of the ticket?
Yes.
People are saving up just to be able to.
25.
Right.
Yeah, people are saving up just to be able to experience some of these nightlife experiences. So
But I think it's such an investment too, where an NFT is an investment.
Yeah.
Like if you're really investing in the artwork or even the artist, you're looking at the future of it too. It's like, hey, I saw this person, like Joyner Lucas, for example, out of Worcester. I saw him when he played at Worcester. And then everyone's like, whoa, that's really early. Like he's not out here doing the like other stuff now. So like that creative side where it's like, wow, like you were at those events, I think also bringing in different production too, where you were talking about the hologram. That would be crazy. Like what happens if he just starts like, yeah, just getting that moment. I'm serious. You got that moment.
Yeah.
And then have it just like have that moment. Be able to sort of create NFTs on the spot too. I don't know if creating NFTs on the spot while the venue's going on too. Like I know you were talking about the holograms where I think that's definitely incredible. That's like futuristic as well. And just being able to really have people be able to invest in the event as well while they're there.
yeah,
And it's not too far into the future. I think there's some hologram type deals out.
We have Michael
already.
Jackson playing.
Yeah, there's where the
Travis
technology
Scott
is.
is
The base
playing.
is there.
The base
The
is there.
infrastructure's there.
It's just who's going to do it.
Yeah, who's gonna do it?
that's kind of the AI side. So one of the challenges is getting that minted on the spot. It's definitely possible. Minting is basically like you were saying earlier. If there's a theme for the art, then everybody gets a unique randomized version of that.
Yep.
So if it's like a figure, then it'll have different accessories. It'll be wearing different accessories.
Different
it'll
seasons,
look
different
colors.
colors. Yeah.
And everybody will get a different one, but you don't know what you're getting until you go to the venue in this concept and show the QR code, and then it gets minted. And
Can
see.
you pay money to possibly get one that you want?
Well, you just never know what you're getting. It's like a surprise base.
It's like, yeah, I'll pay
Not on the
25.
first go.
Okay.
Second, third,
25
goes.
extra bucks. I want that one.
with NFTs after
Top
the,
three.
in this case, with NFTs after the performance, or just with NFTs in general, yeah, you can. Like if you go on the NFT marketplaces, OpenSea or whatever it is, and you see which one you want, and then people bid against them. So yeah, that totally happens. But
Want it.
but with this, right, like usually you just buy a ticket and then you leave the event, and that's kind of it. But this would create that memorable experience where, hey, remember when we were among the first crop to go to this venue, and now look at the kind of people that it's attracting, and how it's really elevated the community.
That's a community.
Yeah.
I love that.
Oh yeah.
Because everybody here is like really eager to show their art, but there's not a lot of like, let's come together and build something together. Everybody's kind of having their different scenes, and I jump around. I try to integrate and network with people in the different scenes, but there's definitely not a lot of bridging the art and the music together, which there totally should be. We have art schools here. We got mass art. We got the Tough School of Fine Arts, and then as well as the locals here, which kind of I always felt like the local artists get a little bit overshadowed by the college scene, because the college scene is such a predominant, strong factor here. Like they really have a stronghold on the city, and they have the resources. So this would kind of connect everybody, but also get the people that are fortunate to come study here and that we're happy to have in our city, get them more connected with the local folks that are building, that are doing art, that might be under-resourced in trying to achieve those goals. Get them connected and for example, you take somebody that's a single mom, maybe works a couple of jobs, that's a Boston resident, and then they create an NFT. Now you have people from MIT, you might have people that work in biotech that moved here, going to the venue, seeing that person's art for the first time. And what that does is that unlocks all the other art that person has that now they can invest in. And they can, it is a lot easier now to, in this ecosystem, would be to invest in somebody else that you never seen their art before, and you may not be able to because they might not go to art galleries, or they may not have a place where they can display and showcase their work. Now you get to go and get a glimpse into their world. And
makes it way more accessible.
Yeah,
I like
exactly.
that. Yeah, that's what the internet's doing. Crypto's doing.
Yeah,
accessibility.
yeah,
That's all it is.
and the other thing too is like there's been a lot of investment into the metaverse side, like what you're talking about. Kind of the AI generated music, the AI generated voices, like where you double somebody's voice, and like they have Tupac perform whatever and they double his voice.
That's crazy.
But that stuff is all metaverse exclusive. Could there be a metaverse component to this? Yeah, possibly. But there hasn't been a let's go satisfy that human need of connection and go work together, go out and see some shows, meet some different people in the community, see how we can support them.
Yeah, I feel like it's still very human now, which is this is the time.
Yeah, and I want to ground that more, versus
Metaverse.
the metaverse is global, and that's great, and that obviously you have a different type of accessibility there as well, but bringing it home to get people to appreciate the art scene in Boston more, multifaceted art scene, and implementing that technology as well, since there's so much hype around that too. So it's kind of like working off of exclusivity and also the hype around NFTs and the demand just around needing more live music. The artists are always going to need a platform as well, because music and artists, like, it's a little bit more difficult since they're kind of a little bit more limited to internet advertising, social media, pop-ups, and art galleries. There's a lot of this type of stuff in the big creative hubs, Miami, LA, New York, where they have multi-purpose event spaces. They got an art show, they got a live music component to the art show, and you can just walk in and check it out. But here, because it's so difficult to get a space, I think that's part of the reason why the event space is a little bit lacking. And then even if there is event space, how often are those people reaching back to the community? See, so
yeah, I haven't been to any places that connected that in Boston. Only in New York.
Really?
Yeah, a few festivals there trying to connect music and artists. Not doing it through NFTs though.
Yeah, like this hip hop collective out in Long Beach in LA. My guys in the Legendary crew. It's Legendary with an I on the end. Legendary Minds. You can look them up on Instagram. Shout out to them. They basically just recently had an event, and they do this constantly, where they had an event where somebody gets to, a small business owner gets to go and showcase their pop-up of their skincare line, but then there's performances, it's different genres. You don't want to mix the genres too much so you can have a cohesive kind of flow to it, but different genres, including the small business owners. Another person there was selling pressed juice, like they have a startup for that, and kind of sharing that audience as well as sharing the viewership with everybody. And I think that's beautiful. Like, we just need more of that kind of stuff, because here, whether intentionally or unintentionally, these kind of pockets have formed. And I've reached out. Sometimes people are receptive, sometimes they're not, but this type of thing would be, within its essence, something that everybody would kind of get involved in. Like, you're way more likely to look at that person's art if you just got their NFT after going to the concert. And you may have never looked that person's art up before, or would have a reason to 100%. Otherwise. You see?
So question. So what are you doing right now to be able to start and work on this?
Yes, sir. That's a great question. I'm trying to lock down a venue right now. As I said, it's very difficult. And the kind of real estate landscape we're in the city. A lot of people I've talked to about retail spaces, and just yesterday I talked to one broker, and he said the guy decided to keep the whole building vacant right in downtown Boston because he hadn't gotten anybody to come in the last year or so because of the pandemic, and then the prices are kind of exorbitant, so
Yeah.
it doesn't make it easy.
So, is there anything else that like where people would be able to possibly help out then, on the other side of things? Because that's just the event space there, but I feel like realistically listening to all this, that's a lot of work just on the, just a lot of work.
For sure. I'm definitely looking for people that are more well versed in the NFT space, that are up on NFT ticketing. I'm definitely looking for, and I have been actively scouting Boston-based artists. Wherever you're at, from Austin to Dorchester, wherever you're at, I've been.
Talk to them. They're right there.
Let 'em know who you want.
I've been speaking to a couple of different artists. Black-owned businesses, wherever I can help there, and lining those folks up so that when it opens and before it opens, I can get the artist connected with the musician. We can get, like, that would have to happen before the event. So the artist gets connected with the musician and they talk about the theme of the event, the theme of the band. And then
you're just making art. Art.
And then so that artist kind of puts together that theme. And so that's definitely what I'm looking for. I have a pretty strong pulse on the local music scene. I'm pretty aware of, maybe 70% of what's going on in the city at least. So I'd like to involve all the different areas there as well, from the indie scene to the R&B scene to the hip hop crew, which are all, have a very big presence in the city in their own right. So just always looking for musicians that would be interested to take part in something like this, and NFT artists and digital artists in general.
Beautiful.
Nice. We know a couple on our influencer network, Freedom TV Plus, so we're going to have to all get connected.
Yes, sir.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, sir.
So we're about to have massive cohesion. NFT, art space, definitely on that. And truthfully, let's get into the next segment. Joe, first off, I just want to say again that this is incredible. Just even the thought process and just being able to create a space where that's really needed, especially here in Boston. But we only listed for 3 cities: Miami, New York, and LA. So there's a lot more cities out there.
Very true.
And there's a lot more artists out there. So I think definitely, and where, again, to what you were saying, was Boston is such an amazing city to be able to start different businesses, start different startups, and start different on the music side, because you have everything right here. And we're winners. Shout out to all the Boston sports teams. Let's go Celtics. Shout out to Big Let's go. You already know. But winners, winning. Let's get some buckets. And so we have that here. That's the beautiful part about this. And what you're doing is absolutely incredible and needed, especially for the smaller artists. Because, the artists that are here, they blow up. And then, where are they from? I don't know.
Exactly. And
face somewhere else.
Yeah, like my buddy's in, or he's kind of taking a step away from the project now, but they were the most viewed R&B group on YouTube, all of YouTube, for years. Nobody even knew they were Boston based, and people still probably don't know that. shout out to my boys Singh and Amir, which kind of they're doing their own thing solo now, but that's what we need more. We need shining more light on the local scene. And getting that cohesiveness in the ecosystem.
Oh yeah, and I love that you're bridging a gap. We're trying to bridge a similar gap with our company and bridging small businesses to digital, and you're bridging creatives, the musicians, creators, and as well as adding businesses into that fold too. So we're bridging and bringing people together.
Cohesion. Bridge.
I like that, brohesion.
Brohesion.
This is brohesion right here. No,
brohesion. New word. You're welcome. Urban Dictionary. You're welcome. It's already there. Brohesion. Yeah, we like that.
Yes, sir.
Keep it up.
And definitely we're here to be able to help too on that side.
Appreciate it.
We love the NFT space.
Oh yeah.
OpenSea's fun.
Oh yeah.
Guys, open up your OpenSea accounts. If not, holla at your boys. Holla at this guy, Joe Sullivan, my guy. All right, so we have some questions. Time for part number 2. All right, this is a part in the show where we just literally go off questions. But before we even start this, it's time for those famous llama cues. We gotta do it.
Already?
We gotta do it. at least the first llama queue.
All right.
And Gamma, I said Gamma. Llama. Oh, man.
All right. First question I got for y'all. Y'all kind of were just answering it towards the end there. But what notes or what ideas or tactics would you have towards connecting multiple unique communities under the Freedom or the Above and Beyond community?
What techniques?
Yeah.
Okay.
Tips, tricks,
Recite
you know?
the question back so we can be able to have it in the mics too.
So, any tips and tricks that you guys would use or give to be able to connect multiple different unique communities under the one community, which is Freedom or Above and Beyond?
So yeah, a tip I think, and I feel like you kind of brought this up. One thing, if you're trying to connect multiple groups that are kind of different, they need to have a similar message or a similar goal. The end goal has to be something along the same lines. So I guess for us in connecting people, we want people who are, I guess, trying to show the same message that we are. They're either trying to bring, no pun intended, freedom to a certain situation or scenario, and no matter what that's in, whether that's music, they're trying to diversify a music space. That's something we want to work with because we're trying to diversify digital spaces. So I feel like everyone needs to have a common theme or goal, and then it's a lot easier to fit in an artist, a musician, and a business, because although they're targeting completely different people, their end goal is, hey, we're trying to equalize this space, we're trying to diversify this space.
Help people.
Yeah, help people. That's a good one.
I
Yeah.
think the tip, truthfully, sorry if I stole just that, but I think just helping people at the end of the day. And the common theme is, hey, like, let's make it around. There's different seasons where this can be popped up in different times a year. And there's so many things that go on because businesses have different seasons where they do different things. But artists, you can have, I don't know, springtime. Right now we're in the spring. It's beautiful, re-energized. Everyone's having that. We can have just the small businesses and have just people, I don't know, just some indie rock and just vibing out. And like, where's the kombucha? You know? Like, let's do it and be able to have like something centered around that small business, but really NFTing that space too. That is a beautiful thing to do, and where Freedom can be able to help is actually provide the small businesses with the resources to connect with you, provide the resources for the artists too, because we have local influencers as well and just different artists too. Ronnie Lama,
Yes, sir.
right? And just bridging that. And so I think that would be a beautiful thing where Freedom could be able to even help on that side and be able to just help just brohesion. Gotta use it. That was a long queue.
Love you.
Gotta love the long queues. All right. So now we're getting down to the beautiful Freedom Cup. That was a beautiful question. Yo, guys, Ronnie just brings those llama cues. And for everyone who doesn't know, do you know what llama stands for by any chance?
I was gonna ask.
Why don't you ask it then?
What does llama stand for, my man?
The acronym stands for Love, Life, and Make Art.
Love, life, and make art.
I wasn't ready.
No.
That's fire.
Right?
Absolutely.
George knows. We always have George in the pod.
Yeah.
Love, life, makes art. And it's for llama. You know, gotta do it.
Everybody knows him.
Oh, Ronnie Llama. And then, do you hear his music too?
Yeah.
Always
I
vibing.
was like, is this guy's last name Llama?
Like, honestly. All right, guys. So, first question. Amon, this one's going to you. Actually, you don't even know what the question is. So we have numbers 1 through 10.
What depends what's in there.
Oh yeah, so we'll see what's good. Ooh.
5. This is a great question for talking NFTs. What do you think the world will look like in 5 years? So in 5 years, I think most things will be automated. I think all spaces will be digital. And I think freedom is a digital space that is going to be, most spaces are going to look like, try to look like freedom. Most spaces are going to try to look like Joe's space. I think in 5 years, everything's going to be digital, whether it's real estate, whether it's membership, whether it's ticketing, whether it's buying groceries down the street. I think everything's going to be digital by then, and most things are going to be automated. So I think in 5 years, people will be looking back at this podcast and saying, wow, I should have bought into Above and Beyond Studios. Wow, that Joe guy was onto something. We should have been making those spaces for ours. So in 5 years, I think we're all going to be watching this and being like, yeah, we thought so.
You know what I think too is that whole concept of social reputation, like technological, reputation within these apps. Like if you have bad reviews on Uber, you won't even get picked up now. Airbnb, Uber,
Really?
all of these have kind of a social media aspect where you're getting reviewed. Even you're the user, but you're getting reviewed.
That's true.
So and now everybody, that's going to branch out to like everybody, wherever you go, is going to have reviews based off of their kind of social ID, for lack of a better way to put it. But that concept is like, taking off right now. It used to be just we'd review the businesses, but now Uber, Airbnb, and it's kind of in a way an accountability system to get people like, if somebody trashed a couple Airbnbs and you see that in the reviews, they're the customer. They're not the business owner. They're the customer, but you're still going to be more apprehensive to rent to somebody like that. So that, I think the implications of that is going to go everywhere. Like you never know. It could go with even go into renting cars and getting into venues and stuff. Who knows? But I think that
That's very true.
yeah, the application will definitely
Very true. A lot of the high-tech cities in Asia are already doing that. So
There
in
you go.
5 years, yeah.
social reputation score.
So watch out what you do in Airbnb.
Jesus. Beautiful, beautiful. All right, next question. Joe, this one's going to go to you.
Okay.
All right. Wow. That was a beautiful answer, gentlemen.
Future
Hopeful.
and digital thinking.
Future and digital thinking. Oh my gosh. All right, next questione. We got number... Llama Q!
Llama Q!
Llama Q!
All right.
Gotta rock the llama.
You said it was for Joe too.
Yeah.
I did have a question for Joe.
Hey, Llama Q!
So, also probably a question that was in somewhat of a way answered before, but besides, just classically showing love and whatnot and support, why do you support Above and Beyond Studios? Why do you support Freedom?
Hey, I want to touch on that anyway, so I appreciate you bringing it up.
Good question.
I remember Stefan kind of hit me up and said, do you want to get involved with my startup, like back in the day, a couple of years ago. And I just found that really inspiring because everybody's so focused on, I got to get the job, I got to kind of get settled after school. But, you dove right for getting involved in your passion project, building entrepreneurship, connecting that with your entrepreneurship goals. And that was something that inspired me. I think you guys do a great job of connecting with the community. I really like what Freedom TV is doing with that kind of database of folks that are active out here. And, everything, like, I'm always supporting Stefan. Like, it's a big inspiration to me. That's one of the reasons that I believe something like this is possible. Because, I try to talk to my parents about NFTs. Like, it might not connect with some of my family members. You already know, like, it might not connect, but what you guys have done, you haven't really let any of that kind of traditional stuff hold you back from going for your entrepreneurial goals with Above and Beyond with Freedom TV. So I've watched the growth and I've supported it always, and I respect it and admire it, and that's kind of driven me in my goals as well.
He's an inspiring dude.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Jesus.
Appreciate you, bro.
Amen, Joe. Let's get some buckets. I like that.
That was a good question.
That was a nice one. That's a bucket. Hit him with the shoulder. All of it. Hello. Amen. Let's get it. All right, that was a beautiful one. That was a beautiful llama cute too. Thank you, guys. All right. Let's see. Question Should I answer this one?
Yes, for you.
Hey, let's get some buckets. Yo, whoever rolled these up, it is tough.
They were like that when we came here.
Amen to that. It's really a work of art. But you're not going to believe me when I say, Llama Q!
No way.
Yo, we're exhausting all of Ronnie's questions today.
I don't even have any more questions yet. Hold on, keep going.
What's up? Llama Q!
Bust one out.
I really don't have a question. I didn't prepare for 3 questions.
It's like, wait, how many llama things are in here?
2.
Ah, you got them both? Wow.
Put me on the spot here.
I know, right? Sorry, man.
Nah, it's
That's
cool.
hilarious.
Totally good.
They come like that.
They do. Right. All right. Number 3, AI. Allen Iverson, killing it. Philadelphia. All right. Do you have a life motto? Yes. All right, I have 2. First off, let's start off. So do you have a life motto? Yes. Right now, I actually have a lot of mottos that I've just had in my life. And typically they happen in seasons personally. Like just going back, like right now it's let's get these buckets. That's number 1.
Yeah.
So that's definitely a life motto. And then aside from that, I would say my other one is trust in the Lord with all your heart. Lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways, acknowledge him, and he will make your path straight. Proverbs 3, 5, and 6.
That one's not seasonal.
That's a mic drop.
That's a bucket.
Oh, that's a walking bucket. No, that one's definitely the life motto that it's like, hey, like, and so when even your story, just, hey, going for it. I'm like, dude, it's not me, it's him. So that's where I just keep it. I'm like, hey, let's get some buckets. And so then I'm like, all right, well, let's go. And then, yeah, let's get some buckets. So I'd say that's definitely the life motto that's bringing on, I don't know, all this, the Brohesian. His life motto. So let's go. All right, last question. We're all answering this one. I chose a quick and easier paper because I was having a tough time. Stop laughing, I'm serious. I was like, oh my gosh. It was like, I'm done. Number 1. Boom. All right, if you could have one superpower, what would it be? Boom. Joe, starting off with you. One superpower, what would it be?
I think I don't know if teleportation is not really a superpower. That's probably something Elon Musk will come out with.
Time out. Wait.
So I won't use that because
Yeah,
That's on the list.
That's a good
on the
one.
list.
SpaceX is probably working on that.
That's a good one.
But
Honestly,
It's the Boring Company. They're probably
talking
working on
about that, I was on an
it. His other
elevator.
company.
And I was just like, I'm on level 4, and I was just sitting there. I'm like, I should be asleep or something. This is inefficient just sitting here in an elevator. Like, why couldn't I teleport? That was my thought process. So I don't even know where people are going to take that. But I was just like, but I wish I teleported down the elevator. I was like, this is a waste of time. I'm sitting here. All right. So
I think it's a good one.
I like your superpower.
yeah, I was pretty fascinated by the invisibility cloak in Harry Potter. Like that was just such a crazy concept, you know? Like just being able to float between spaces and never disrupting the energy in the room would be pretty cool.
Have you seen Invisible Man?
No.
Oh, you have to watch that. The Invisible Man, you have to watch that. It's so good.
Okay. But
So which one between the cloak and teleportation?
I don't know, man. I'm colorblind, so if I could just see like the full spectrum of colors, I'd be straight.
A superpower?
Time out. So
I can see this, but I don't have it bad. But like, if I go to a national
what color
park,
is this?
blue, dark blue, or purple.
Purple.
See?
Little Roku.
See?
All right. Wow. Sorry, I had to test it. I'm sorry.
Another thing about the Roku, you can download Freedom TV Plus on Roku.
Freedom TV Plus is on Roku. That was all just perfect positioning. No, but like, oh my gosh, wow. So what's your favorite color?
I like the stuff that stands out more. Like I think I went to hike Seattle, my buddy, this past summer. Like we went out to the Olympics, Olympic National Park, and I just can't help but wonder how much different was his experience. Because with foliage, like
That's true.
a lot of that just looks one shade of green to me, or one shade of brown. So I kind of get bored a little bit faster.
Okay.
I'm only gonna look at one shade of
Wow.
But for him, I'm sure that like he could see all the different colors because that's blended. It's not so much like, obviously with green, and you see how bright this is. So
Yeah.
like I always liked gold. I always liked orange and blue, but I kind of settled into blue because that's like a neutral color,
Wow.
But I didn't know that purple was purple for a while. Like I always confused them. So it's kind of the in-between colors. So I just make up names like maroon and turquoise or whatever.
Turquoise.
You can get away with it because like
Right?
you can't pinpoint that. But yeah, I have it like a little bit. But I think I can't help but wonder like how much would I have enjoyed those type of experiences. I think that's why I always appreciate the ocean so much, because it's polar, like the blue sky, the ocean, the sand. I don't have to worry about like staring at, looking at the leaves with binoculars.
It's brown. Yeah, still brown.
Like that's why I like when the springtime and in the fall when the leaves like really change colors. They go completely red, and that's pretty cool. But
That's amazing. That's a superpower.
I didn't know that until I got yelled at by my math teacher, and then she was like, "Oh, wait a minute, my bad. Like you might be colorblind." But I didn't even know that. Then. I had already been embarrassed.
How'd the situation happen? How'd it happen?
Yeah,
What color
like,
was it that did you wrong?
I don't even know, but it was in the 6th grade, and she just like got so mad at me in front of the whole class, and then
So she probably thought you were joking, right?
just like not being serious or whatever, and then,
Colors it blue.
I thought like I hadn't learned my colors or something, Yeah, so then I ended up getting my eyes tested, and I found out that I was colorblind,
Wow.
but at least she backtracked, but it was too late already, because like when you're a kid and you get embarrassed in front of the class, it's like there you go, like your social reputation just you feel really bad, but like that type of stuff used to happen, and like I'm walking around wearing Christmas colors half the time, and I don't even realize. Like that if you ever, that's how you pick out a colorblind person. If it's in the summer and they're wearing red and green, and they're clashing their Christmas colors, the basketball shorts are red, and the Celtics shirt, you're just like, wait,
What's going on?
That's how you know.
Wow.
So sometimes I gotta, like ask somebody I'm staying with or whatever, like, hey, is this straight?
What color is this?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So
Wow, that's very different, but like cool.
as an artist, I think it would add a lot. So not really a superpower, but just probably an ability that people might take for granted.
People definitely take that for granted. Yeah.
That was just a deep answer and everything. That was incredible, Joe. That was dope.
For sure.
All right. Amon.
Superpower. So I thought I was gonna say super speed. Not true. Thought I was gonna say teleportation. Not true. I would say the ability to multiply myself. There's this X-Men character who could make like 100 of himself.
That's a good one.
I would do that. I would be all over the world, like everything. Like.
Yeah. Well, think about it. Like, a lot of people feel that way. They're ambitious. Like, look, Kanye. If Kanye could clone himself, he would be getting so much more done. Like, he already got the Yeezys. He already got into the music space. Like Dre with the headphones and the music. If these guys could clone themselves,
Oh yeah.
oh my goodness!
Imagine how good you'd be at sports too. Like, if you
team
could
of
train
5 of me?
yourself.
Yeah.
You'd be training yourself right now somewhere else. We're sitting here talking, and you're training. Like,
That's incredible.
it's not
And
a
then
level.
Stefan number 2.6. Need you to race.
Need you to race,
ball
yeah,
up.
yeah.
It's like, all right, bet.
Someone else
High
is in the
five.
library reading.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
So question. So I'm now thinking of the character Naruto.
yeah.
And so he has
Oh, yeah.
shadow clone jutsu.
Yeah, yeah.
Where he's, and then, but like everything he learns from those shadow clones,
He gets.
he gets back to him.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like that's sort of dope.
It is dope.
That's sort of dope. And like, cause he had to train, and he like he did his training so fast because he had so many learning it.
Mhm.
And then one episode where it's like, whoa, this guy's goat.
Yeah.
He's gonna become a Hokage. All right, that's dope. Wow. So that's amazing there on that side.
How about yourself?
Yes, sir. Let him know.
All right. Teleportation.
That's a popular one.
Yeah, it's popular. That's a good one.
I think that would be, so mine would be more like jumper style. Like, just because, like, I feel like, don't want to have all the power, but like jumper, he can like see something and then he can jump there.
Mhm. Has to see it, has to know where he's jumping.
Correct.
Yeah.
I
The
think,
X-Men character has the same one too. He has to see where he's going.
yeah. And
Yeah.
I think that's like a fair teleportation.
Yeah, yeah.
Otherwise, I'm like, all right.
It's
It's like,
too
you can just,
easy.
it's
Yeah.
like, why stop? It's like, I'm
But-
just bouncing around.
Do you think you would have more jumper remorse about like I should have not teleported there? Like I wish I didn't have this and I just stayed at the family event when I was there instead of dipping and going or something else. Like, do you think that freedom would end up, you would overindulge in it and then you would wish that you were more present in one place for longer? Like,
Nah.
Nope. I think that's why I would need to be able to clone, because I'd let someone feel bad about that. One of them's going to feel bad. The other one's like, I'm good.
Wait.
the clone and the teleportation is some next level stuff. Like.
If I could combine the two,
And now that's too
no,
much.
but like,
That's-
so for me, like, you definitely still have to have your life and like do that. Like, still want to be able to work, still be able to do that. But I'm like, if I can work in Puerto Rico right now, I'm in Puerto Rico right now. Let's go.
Oh,
And
man.
I would love to have it so like if I'm holding on someone's hand, they can travel with me. Because then I'm like,
That's jumper style, yeah.
yeah, jumper style,
Mhm.
like just like that. Then I'd be like, hey, chilling in Puerto Rico.
No more airplanes for the family.
No, dude, no more Ubers, no more airplanes. Like, so efficient with time.
Oh yeah.
Like,
And
no more
carbon
traffic.
emissions, no more
carbon.
carbon
My
emissions.
carbon footprint non-existent.
Yeah.
Besides methane,
That's gonna come out. It has to come out some way.
right? But like, honestly, like, I think that would be just. I would have a great time. Still attend the family events. I'd be there early and I'd stay late.
But that's you. But like other people,
Some people wouldn't. Yeah. I'm
they
going
start
to the
nodding off
bathroom.
like I'm out of here.
Yeah.
Yeah. But then I feel like too much of that, and then they would start to regret. I should have like
Just
stayed.
walked.
That 4-hour graduation.
Should have just walked.
Like that little sister's 4-hour graduation, you start snoozing and then.
What do you mean? I'm there.
You are, not all people. Not all people.
I'd be there 100%. Alright, picture. Alright. Enjoy the drive home, guys.
Ronnie, how about you?
I'd probably have to keep it with the general idea that we got going on of just not wanting to wait. Because that's what I feel like it is. Like, if you have clones, like, you don't want to
You're
wait
not waiting
to
for
get
anything.
all that knowledge. If
Yeah.
you're teleporting, you don't want to wait. If it's speed, you don't want to wait. So, yeah, anything that just,
Instant.
yeah, just stops me from waiting.
Mm-hmm.
Freeze time? Or is that too much waiting?
No, but I feel like that's so
That's not even
efficient.
waiting.
I don't even
Is
know.
that
No.
waiting?
No.
I don't
I
know.
feel like that's super efficient. Like, if you could freeze time,
You could do anything. Yeah.
like, I'm thinking of Bruce Almighty or Click.
Click. Yeah,
Click.
yeah.
We have movies for everything now. Like, so literally, he was able to pause,
And do all this
rewind,
work.
do all that work.
Yeah, he got the remorse. That's a good example. Click. He that remorse hit
That was the
him.
whole concept.
Yeah.
No, but that had a stipulation attached to it. It's like, oh, once you like, because it fast forwarded.
Yeah. Well, because
It
he
was-
was only using it for work, and that was the thing.
Yeah.
Like he was
No,
but
but
just working, and then the AI, the algorithm knew
Correct.
it was like anytime something's happening, you want to work, fast forward.
Yep. And,
And
then
then-
he's like, oh,
Wait,
I'm
what?
old. It's like, dude, nah. It's like I would have been in Puerto Rico.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, that's jumping. But yeah, no, 100%. So would you say it's the click power?
I think he just wants to be more efficient. Like
Yeah,
have
I
his
think
clone
this
go
is
get him
nuts.
food. And...
Shoot. If I
He gotta teleport there too. You feel me?
Yeah, the clone teleport.
right.
Combining superpowers.
Oh, you
Oh
get-
man.
Oh man. Okay, I have another question for all you guys. So something that isn't like what if you had, know how there's 10 traits essentially of things like you could do just to be able to be like a better person. Like one of them's like being on time, one of them's being more efficient. What's a normal person, like everyday life, something that can possibly improve tasks or something in your personal life that you think you just had that superpower where it's like, hey, that's always at 100? All right, I'm going to start with you, Joe.
Compassion.
Oh,
By a long shot. Sorry, bro. But you can use it too. But...
Sorry.
Hey, you can use it too, man. But like, because there's not enough compassion to go around anyway in this world. Like, I think with the instantaneous society we're living in, with phones and everything's all instant gratification. In a way, society kind of allows us to be more self-serving, and it takes an active stepping back, like an active effort to step back and say, wait, let me hear this person out. Let me be there for them. Let me talk to them about stuff. That kind of stuff can really change people's lives. Like, you don't know what you're going through your day to day, but if somebody's going through something, you stop and you talk to them, and even not only in a crisis or if somebody needs something, but just in general, communicating in a compassionate way. Like, so much stuff is driven by natural human nature of, I need this now, and later I'm gonna need this. But you look at a lot of communities and religions that thrive, and a lot of the basis, regardless of the spiritual deity in the background, there is helping other people, serving other people, because then you see somebody else winning, then you're feeling good too. Like, you're getting gratification from that as well, and then the other person's looking out for you. And just kind of also being able to communicate in a compassionate way. We're guys, and so we might see one of our boys at the gym, like he's going through something. All right, cool, man. Well, I wish you the best with that, and that's it. And it doesn't really go any further than that. And it doesn't necessarily have to be long-winded, but if we got better at communicating in a non-judgmental way, and just really communicating in a way where it's like, some people think, oh, well, I went through that X and Y way. That's not necessarily compassion. That's like, you're trying to relate to the person, but what they're hearing is, yeah, you went through that, but I went through this. Mm-hmm. And comparison doesn't really coexist with compassion. So that's one thing I'm trying to get better at, is just, communicating in a way that doesn't put forth any analysis to it, even if that's subconscious sometimes, but just trying to like backtrack. And I think we oftentimes get caught up in, there's an opinion in the question. Like, sometimes when you put forth an opinion in the question, like, it's not objective. But if we objectively communicate, hey, I'm here for you, tell me what's going on, that must be difficult to deal with, and how can I support you in that space? Like, not only that, but just refraining from, I got no time, I gotta go somewhere. Like, refraining from that kind of rush in life that we're constantly caught up in.
So keyword, compassion.
Yes, sir.
Compassion. That was a beautiful word. And just being, like, truthfully, that was heavy to the heart.
But Llama's gonna level it up right
Llama.
now.
I mean, shit, sorry.
Sorry, Mom.
I mean, you pretty much touched on everything I would have said. One of the things you mentioned was how, like, compassion is about how we love to see, if we see someone else winning, that makes us feel good. And one of the things about that is, like, unfortunately, we live in a society where it's like, it's almost the opposite now, where it's like, whether it's through trolling or whatever it may be, it's almost like seeing someone else losing, and you being the person that puts them in that position is what actually makes you, quote unquote, feel good. And that's what adds to my reason why I would like compassion to be my superpower. That, and the fact that I'm a firm believer in, like, being raised by a village, which also is not necessarily a thought that necessarily, like, exists.
Western world.
Right, exactly. But Freedom and Above and Beyond Studios is one of the things that does kind of what's the word, embalm that. Is that a word?
Yeah.
Is that a word?
Around surrounding.
Yeah, exactly. Because we are building a community. We are trying to help all of those around us. And try to do it with compassion as much as possible. We're not always the best with it necessarily, or and that's why I want it, because we're not always the best with it, and we're not always gonna have it. But to have it at 100% all the time, I mean, shoot, just for me to have it at 100% all the time could change the world in such a massive way. And for everyone to be on that level,
different worlds.
We're all in this together. I love that compassion. That is the fact that it came up twice. You gonna say you got the C word?
So wait, so what? I gotta know. I'm kind of behind here. What are the other traits? What are the?
It's limitless.
Or do you need traits in general?
So they went off traits, but it's like, hey, if you could do anything more efficiently, like, truthfully, my first thought was like even work. It's like, yo, what if you could finish every single task that you put your mind to? What would the world look like?
If you were living at your potential.
Yeah, exactly. Not in the laziness, not in that. But that's not even the one that I chose.
Okay,
but like.
Okay. So let me know if this is the right answer. I would say learning. The ability to learn everything at 100%. Like,
brilliant.
Yeah, that's what I would want to be able to. If I could turn learning up, like, yeah.
Question, so where are you at for learning right now?
I don't know, man. I feel like, I don't know. I would assume I'm pretty high, but I don't know.
Another question. Would 100% mean that you're constantly learning? So even while I'm asking you this question, you're taking in my tone, the words that I'm using.
The answer is yes.
So I'm probably at like 3 out of 100.
Yeah, I was about to say, I'm like, there's no way.
Yeah, we're probably really low. So if you could turn that up, like, that's
God.
Craig.
Do you mean always learning, or do you mean always being able to learn something fully?
I would say learn something fully. If I could, anything that like I wanted to, like something to step into to learn. If I could learn NFTs fully, like
boom.
What?
Basketball fully, boom.
Yeah.
Wait, isn't there like a movie? Sorry, there's a movie like that. Matrix.
Matrix?
Yeah.
Where they download? Yeah.
And then you're just a master. Yeah, I'm hitting these movies right now. I'm sorry, you're welcome.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess. Yeah, they straight up just downloaded, or Neo just learns Kung Fu. It's like, I'm going to give it to you. Like,
right? He's like, oh, I'm doing this.
But yeah, so I feel like everyone is probably low. A spectrum, but everyone is probably really low. And if I personally, that's what I would pick. I'd want to turn up, because then I feel like learning, that's like endless. Like, you could learn to be more compassionate. Like the way that I talk to people now, if I could learn how to compassionately interact with someone more, like, I feel like every part of your life would improve.
Mm-hmm. In the heart, in the soul, right? I've actually learned a ton just from like even your answers alone. And so I guess I'll go next. I would say the one that I was thinking of was love. And I think like it's patient, it's kind, it's pure, like just pure love. And just to be loving like towards other people, towards myself, towards like, I mean, if you're good loving towards yourself and then you're loving towards other people, my God, you're doing a good job. Like the actions you take, the way that you think, the way that you process things, it would be extremely like, I feel like love is just the word. Like we all are trying to achieve like a love of some sort. And that would be like, if I had that at 100%, to be able to be like just a loving guys, like, yo, that's what I want. And then
I think people that took time to heal and kind of like work through their past traumas and kind of deal with their demons can operate from a place of love a little bit easier, and
karate chop those demons in the throat,
it's
gullet
fundamentally
down.
important, to like deal with what you struggle with and kind of like your insecurities and your self-esteem issues in order to be able to be present for other people. Because like, like you're saying, like a lot of times, a lot of issues that pop up is just from people's frustration dealing with their own, whatever, their own demons, their own frustrations. Like that gets reflected on somebody else, but it's, if they're operating out of love, that wouldn't happen.
Mm.
If they dealt with that privately and then operated out of love, then they would be cognizant of always treating that other person with respect and not taking anything out on them. So yeah, that one's solid.
Where is the love, the love, the love? Black Eyed Peas style. Great song. But we don't want to end on that song. It's all about the Ronnie music. Just want to say, you guys are welcome.
Let it rip.
Ding, ding. So, guys, this was an amazing episode. I love the questions at the end. I love how just deep we got. Joe, congratulations. Many successes, many moons, many all of that. We definitely want to be able to help and support, and love the NFT space and the ideas that you have around it.
Absolutely.
And that is going to be extremely critical for Boston, and it can be critical for many people worldwide. Period.
Yes, sir. I
So
love
that's
that.
a walking bucket, bro.
Keep bridging gaps.
Brohesion. There's so many different words that have it. Compassion with it.
Yeah, I'd love to have you guys, part of the blueprint for it, man. This is, if Boston can create the blueprint or something like that.
Let's scope this
Magical.
bad boy out.
Yeah, it's magical.
Let's scope this bad boy out. Boston, we coming for you. Blah, blah, blah. It should be called like something with compassion. Colorblind compassion.
I'm playing around with like venue names or like studio names, but I'm kind of thinking Silk Road, but road with the RHODE, like Rhodes Scholar, but not Rhodes Scholar. Silk Road is kind of like the part of the world that my mom is from in Central Asia, but also the Rode piano is a synth that was used in R&B, Donny Hathaway with his Christmas songs, in rock back in the day. They don't really make them as much anymore, but like in the 70s, and it's got a very distinct kind of synth sound. It's not just like a regular keyboard. It's got that old school synth feel to it.
Such a music guy. Yeah, it's in the bones.
So I think like something like that would be cool.
I like Silk Road because that was the biggest road probably in the history of the world, connecting Asia, Europe, Africa.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
The kind of biggest trade route.
Oh, yeah.
That was definitely a bridge.
I'm playing around with different ideas, but that's like so
That's
far
deep.
the first
That's deep.
tentative idea that I do like.
I like it.
Nice.
Let's get it. Let's get it. All right, boys. Nice job. Let's get some buckets. I don't even know. How do you end a podcast? Does it just happen with music?
It just happens.
Adam 22 is from over here. He's from New Hampshire. The what's his
No
podcast?
Jumper?
No Jumper.
Yeah.
What's
Best podcast in the world, and then he just goes into it.
They just go in.
Wait, what? How do they start it?
He just
They
says
just-
best podcast in the world, and it just starts. There's no music or anything. Like.
I want to do that.
He's
They'll
dope,
just be
that guy.
hanging, talking, chilling, and then
Yeah,
best podcast in the world, it's on.
he's from Nashville.
Wait, honestly,
Yeah.
let's do that.
I like the music though.
Oh, it's the Llama Productions, Rani Lama, all that.
We all set.
We all set.
For Stefan and Damon and Above and Beyond Studios.
I forgot.
Like, sheesh.
I forgot. It was like.
Like how we used to do with males. I said, and hey,
LES. Males is lit. But yeah, no, there was none of that. Sorry, boys. I was like, oh.
We still recording?
Unfortunately.
All right. Well, we like to end this podcast a little bit later. Thought it was over, but apparently not. But guys, Shop with Freedom. Let's start there. Joe, thank you. Shop with Freedom. Hello Velo. Breaking Stuff. Freedom TV Plus. Roku. Hashtag search it up. And plus is PLUS. There's not plus a sign that you can actually add. Roku. Let's get it on. Get those downloads. You'll be able to see this smiling face. That's not smiling. Nice. And again, thank you guys so much for all the time. Like, subscribe, share,
Comment.
give
us questions.
Prove it.
Yeah, we wanna hear your questions.
Do it. Or else. Can't say or else. Take that back. But yeah, let's get it. But yeah, this is a special outro.
Special outro, special episode.
Special episode, very special episode. We have our first guest on the show. Walking Bucket Joe Sell. He's about to bring NFTs to Boston, y'all. You heard it here first.
Silk Road NFT music venue coming to a neighborhood near you. Freedom TV. You heard it here first. Tap in.
Let's do it.
Tat. Hey. Walking Bucket. All right, we out. So do I just like hit it?
Yeah, we'll see which outro we go with.